side, but they lost that long streak of rounds in a row from 7-2 to I think 11-7 at one point.
Yeah.
And it was very rough for them. And yeah, forZe, sure, they look shaky in terms of finishing that map off, but they continually got behind the enemy lines of Endpoint. They pushed towards CT time and again with that strategy on Ancient, and Endpoint didn't seem to know how to deal with that mid presence. And you have to wonder whether now going onto a map like this, as you so rightly say, whether their run could be over. But we said that yesterday.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you know, questions have to be asked about potentially the play style and the game plan just generally for Endpoint, right? Because I think, you know, you're looking towards the way in which they set up on Seaside Ancient, and leaving mid open more or less every single round was questionable to say the least. But here they start on the CT side of Overpass, arguably the better side as well. And they make this work in their favor. It's looking like forZe want to fly on towards the B site. It's only actually Mighty Max, the IGL here to meet them. They stacked over towards A, and it's not worked for them. This is going to be a 5-on-5 retake. Not even a single point of damage from this yet. Now they have.
Now they will, yeah, but they have lost Max, and now the kit's in the open. It's going to be a big peak, but this is a bit worrying. All the kills are coming through. forZe fighting for their life, and it's the fastest trade you could ever wish to see. It's now Jerry 1 versus 2. Endpoint have hit all their shots. He's trying to stay alive. No. He's jumping around, and Jerry only just gets it done. Can he strafe away? He can. Kit picked up from Surreal. He can play the long game. Jerry is at 1 point of health. If he finds a way to take this one, it would be a bit of a miracle, you'd have to say. But he's trying to play the headshot angle. Surreal finally gets it done. And there's time for the defuse as well with that kit. Oh my goodness. forZe, you have to wonder, they just posted up on the site rather than decide to hold W in towards CT. You would think they would have taken that one. But as it is, Endpoint, they were allowed to fight back.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that was a close one. It did look. And I think, once again, you have to argue the thing. You know, we're talking about Endpoint and maybe they're you know, their CT tied hold, but I think one thing that has been a distinct weakness so far in this series is forZe in post plants. They have been gruesome to watch at times, and that's another post plant which never should have been as rough as it was. They set up 5 versus 5, and with that many people alive over towards a site in a post plant, you shouldn't be losing the way that they do. I think forZe, a couple of questions to come through there about how that one ended up being the way it is, but of course a bomb plant does give them a bye towards the next scout in the hand of Zorta alongside a couple of Galils. What can they make it work here? They're looking for, well, to tie this one up. And in my opinion, I don't actually think the pistols are very important. I think these rounds, the second round and a half, is what matters most, the force buy. This is what determines the momentum in the earlier part of how this half is going to pan out.
Yep, indeed. MHL, a couple of taps before he falls away. GT side start, as you both always say on this map, can be very powerful and important. And we'll get it off to the perfect start. But forZe, with that bomb plant, you always mention it. Very powerful buy they will get in that second round. Zorta only a scout, but we see him do some crazy things with that. NertZ, good control with the FAMAS. Long range to take Krad, but there are still 3 more Galils to come Endpoint's way. But right now, Heavy God is dealing with them beautifully. Gets himself another 2. Zorta, last alive, has to fall away with the scout. Probably his only choice in this scenario, because MHL was there to help out as well and just lock down the site perfectly. Would like an upgrade, of which he knows there is one, but I very much doubt he'll be allowed to find it. Solid hold.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you can get anything on the way out here, that'd be nice. The Galil, unfortunate. He walks into no man's land, and he gets caught in that transition for Endpoint. Really great second, needed as well for them. They were in a position where, once again, you're starting to make these conversations and thought processes around, you know, how is this one going to pan out for them? Is maybe this going to be an opportunity for forZe to get back into it? Now it's solidified that they have started off in towards map number 2 in a much stronger fashion. There's also kind of a question that maybe we can come back to a little bit later as well, is once again, you know, if this map goes in favor of Endpoint the same way they did yesterday, maybe we start looking towards their oppositions, both, you know, your forZes and your Sprouts, and thinking maybe not enough research was actually done towards this side in terms of their overpass. If they're able to take this again, that goes 2 for 2 that they've taken for opposition's map pick. Of course, very, very early doors, yeah, so I'm not going to be alluding to anything like that, but definitely a kind of a food for thought when we get later down the line. If Endpoint start to put up a really solid start here on towards their opponent's map pick. But as we mentioned, forZe are on a 6-map winning streak on Overpass. This has been their turf for quite a while, and Jerry showing why. Nice shot. Azort will be jumped with the bomb. NertZ looking for 3. Only limited to 2.5.
2.5 would be right, because shalfey is very, very low as it stands without that Kevlar, of course. But Krad has picked up that M4, and Jerry is still full health. There was a double push coming from Con. And Jerry's going to look away at exactly the wrong time, but Krad's there. They don't seem to be aware of how far they've pushed up toward the A site yet. It gives them a slight sniff. shalfey, oh, the insta headshot, that was the way back in. But that was really the only way. Jerry somehow trying to avoid this short pipe angle from Surreal. He tries to jump over. Oh my goodness. I think he's done it. He's jumped on that little spool, which you can, of course, get a bit more progress over. He needs his kill towards Surreal. Actually sees the tip of his helmet. Jerry, I have to say, really nice try. He knows exactly how to cross that position. Every single brain cog working at high alert there. But Endpoint, of course, do seal it as expected, as Jerry was technically 1 bullet from death wherever you shoot him. So we'll keep the streak going, the early streak. But of course, forZe, after some good damage, have a full buy coming in here.
You know, we get to one of those points where we have to say for forZe, this is a sort of a needs-must conversion. Endpoints, arguments to be made about this not really counting as a bonus just because of how hefty the investment is, but either way, they have a little bit left in the back pocket in terms of money to work with. Same can't be said for forZe. This C-side has to be successful for them, as MHL, which can hold a crack angle, doesn't want to overextend or leave himself too open just now, but is looking for a pixel to work with. Won't be given too much, as NertZ is just round the corner. Ready to take this first engagement. A run boost to come through as well off the back of the flash. And it only catches Jerry, but fortunately, Zorta's there to bail him out. So MHL now needs to be a little bit more cautious.
After you see the run boost toward that position on long actually work out so successfully, it's basically kind of done for mostly a 1-for-1. Of course, you have the ability to fling one player over as high and as fast as possible. And the second player can peek the lower angle. So can kind of put your opponent off sometimes, and it works out as intended that time for forZe. It's time to take short off the back of it. I always say on Overpass, whether you're the CT or T side, we all know short control is very, very important. It'll give forZe now a chance to execute with all the utility they could ever wish to have. Forza comes in, Max is very, very blind, but Surreal and Heavy Gun are still here in the action, and Surreal's doing a great job of holding down the site right now. Suddenly he's wrestled back the man advantage for his team, and now Jerry is down to 9 HP as well. Deagle out, 1 bullet needed. Jerry finally finds it though. Problem is the bomb is in the smoke and he has to go into it to pick it up and get it down, but Heavy God spams him. And there's no chance for shalfey to get this plant done. Bit of frustration, as you can see. He has to fall back with his gun and save into the next round. That is a great hold from Endpoint in what looked to be a very difficult situation.
Yeah, at first, it sort of started a little bit more on the rough side. Thankfully, able to convert. And like I was saying before, it sort of feels like a bit of a needs convert, a need be. And the fact that they haven't really solidifies how good of a start this has been for Endpoint. And so necessary. They needed to come out in towards Overpass flying out the gates. And thankfully, they're doing exactly that. And now not only are they finding, consistent success, but they're starting to build up some stability in terms of the more long-term sense of the economy, which on CT side is very difficult to do. To have kind of stable economy to work with and have that ability to, continuously buy it up round after round, it's always something that teams really struggle with. forZe, they need to continue to keep making things expensive. They want to deny Endpoint's ability to do that. Heading in towards round number 5, it's just that one hero AK saved over by shalfey to work with alongside it. Investment is, for the most part, pretty minimal. shalfey has fully invested as well as alongside as best he could, but aside from that, of course, he got no money saved from the previous, so he's really got nothing else to work with. Just $50 left in the bank.
It's not the best, is it? And it makes you feel like that was probably the main source of his frustration, knowing that his own personal economy is going to be quite disconnected from the rest of his team. So sure, he still does have his gun, but it's a silver lining to have a insane round to make it into the action. And there we go. Okay, Surreal's caught off guard with the lovely boost coming in towards short. Max will flash that though and plays it to perfection, to be fair to him. holds it down for 3. Very well done. And the threat of the shalfey boost only gets, say, 1 more kill. Almost 2. In the end, it is just that 2. Well done to Endpoint to recover that one after what probably would have been a bit of shock in the ranks. So that boost got that kill as easily as it did. Quite often these days now we see teams play defaults on CT side on B that completely avoids the possibility of that boost actually getting a kill. But this time it did get the entry. So recover the situation. Money's looking a little bit rough around the edges because these rounds are getting expensive. They do still lead 5-0.
Positive though, isn't it? That's where you really start to feel a little bit more on the confidence side. NHL, nice opener. That's fantastic. He'll take that all day. Nade as well. Denies a bit of that presence. Result does take a very decent chunk of damage too, down to 64. Already great start for Endpoint, continuing what has been a triumphant run so far. forZe, I was left scratching their heads a little bit. What do we do to kind of get back into this one? Swinging off the back of it. That's not a bad start. As NertZ overextends in towards long. He's caught off guard by the AWP.
Yeah, it was a good flash assist from MHL, to be honest, but Auto wasn't really the one blind from it. It was the other player. MHL pushing up close, and I'm not sure if he's aware how close Result is to the front of the bathroom. And there it is. They pinch beautifully. That is superb stuff from forZe. The timing on the push from Result front bathroom, even though there were 2 players there, they combine it with Krad from long. It's absolutely spot on. It's interesting, right? I mean, we saw earlier on Result playing Connector. I actually watched a video earlier today. While it looks like Surreal... I mean, hang on a second. There might be a slim chance to really get something done here, so I'll get back to my point in a moment. Result's holding Connector. Good angle. Very well played. That is a classic angle from one of my old friends that I learnt to hold for the retakes coming in. Impossible, possibly hard to pre-fire. Now Max is 1v4. He's going to go for it, though. Keeping himself very much in the action here. Will come through there and taking a lot of damage. Does drop the bomb, though. 15 seconds. They have to push towards this one. Finally, Krad gets it done. Damn. That was a bit scarier than it should have been. Anyway, back to my point for a split second. I was watching a video from Mix, actually, the former Cloud9 coach, and NA CSGO aficionado. He watched a demo of Blame F and explaining how Astralis play their default, and mentioning how Buzz on Overpass plays Connector. And as a youngster, as Result is, it tends to be one of the easier default positions to play on this map.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if you want to play Con, you just have to watch for the door opening, watch anyone crossing, to try and take short as a CT, and just, you know, if you've got cracked aim, it's a good place to put one of your young riflers in to try and show up. And it's interesting to see that Result is in exactly that same role as Buzz is. So, you know, you can switch between the two. It is very replicatable. That's not a word.
Yeah.
I invented it. All good.
I like it. I like it. No, I understand, right? I think actually, Con is one of those places where it kind of allows for more than a... it's very difficult to be timing there, right? So it comes down to the simple things, just like mechanics, right? I think that's where you actually look towards youngsters. Yeah, exactly. You look towards youngsters in terms of their ability, just, you know, on a more mechanical sense more than anything. Like your Buzzers and like your Result, both of those are seen as kind of just very efficient riflers, guys who can really step up to the plate as well. MHL getting run boosted across. That's lovely. Thankfully, shalfey just going to sail between his legs, fall back. Oh, NertZ. Oh, NertZ. That's a freebie. Result, no idea. Just as we were talking about him being mechanically efficient, NertZ meets him with a deagle bullet to the head.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're mechanically efficient. If that's the way you go down and around, not much you can do about that one. NertZ, it's a free AK for himself. It's interesting to see Endpoint happy to go for that run boost across Monster that gets MHL to the left-hand side. Because we have noticed from forZe in the last few days of how they play Overpass, which I'm sure Endpoint have kept their eye on. They do enjoy the odd dry push through Monster. shalfey is often the man to go for that, and he did try it then. But got spooked away by that position from MHL, so getting it done quick enough. It's interesting to see if that keeps someone like shalfey at bay. MHL is certainly keeping them at bay at the moment. He's removed Jerry from this round. And beautifully as well, with a headshot from Bank. Doesn't leave forZe with many options anymore.
MHL. Now, got a good angle to hold with. Might get a freebie onto a shalfey. Doesn't come through. This shot and actually gets punished. As Heavy got all 4, so will NertZ. One missed shot from MHL has cost so much. Now the numbers brought level and the bomb will go down. Krad will drop him out in rotation. What a crumble, what a capitulation from Endpoint. It could get worse. Yeah, it's Surreal. Just dipping his toes to test the waters over towards the A side, but I think it's a safe call to fall back as they are shark infested. Don't go near, as Max has made the early call to save, but opening of Condor would have been heard.
There's a chance, but I think falling back and saving, as now Surreal has found that AWP, has to be the way to go, and they'll do exactly that. He's safe though. Heat from heaven, has to jump away. Should be safe from the clutches of Max, but shalfey is going to be around this position too. But Max could be in trouble. But I've got to say, what makes that round even more what looked like easy for forZe to take the site is that the reload of the AWP has to come in for MHL. He took so many shots in that round. He goes for the reload, what he thinks is completely safe in bank. But Krad had crept all the way through, takes him out for free. And because the site crumbled so quickly, it meant that the reload... Sorry, not the reload. The retake... What are you talking about? Spoke about the reload. The retake was so far away on the B-bomb site. They just weren't expecting it to crumble so quickly. So Endpoint had no choice in the end once that loss of MHL came in. Couldn't retake as a 3. No way back in. Now it's MHL versus Zorta again. That battle is going to be pretty fascinating. That flash, oh my goodness. MHL is completely caught off guard. He tries to fall away. But he's so blind, he can't even entry toward bathrooms. That's not good if you need to go to the toilet. Jerry gets himself 3 toward Monster as well. And now NertZ is left last alive with the P250. This round has fallen apart very quickly for Endpoint. They will have a bye just about, if they want to go for it, in the next round. forZe now looking very good indeed.
Early call on the buy as well. I mean, not even a moment to think about it. NertZ has bought within about half a second of the buy time opening up. Fully committed coming into it. Just the M4s to work with. No AWP in play, but overall, not too shabby. forZe starting slowly to put up some decent numbers over towards that C side. It's making itself a lot more convincing than it initially looked. And this once again goes back to what we saw over towards Ancient, where we said, you know, for Endpoint, they started really well, but we care more about how they fare against full buys. That's the thing that is, you know, the real testament and the real caliber in terms of their ability against those full buys. And already we're starting to see them slightly fall behind, right? They were great against the pistols, great against the half buys. Now when the AKs and AWP come into play, starting to dwindle just a tad, and shalfey might spot a leg here. Max, does he understand? Yes, he does, all too well. There's the opener.
An opening find. It's interesting that on a round like that for Endpoint, when they have about 4.4, 4.3k per player, it's actually the kind of economy where you'd see the old double pony team, which of course is now Heat, unfortunately falling apart a bit now.
Yeah, rest in peace.
But the strategy that Body always used to call, consistent with those teams, was if you're around that money, no matter what the situation is in the game, especially if you have a lead, you actually go for a Deagle half buy and get absolutely everything you want into the next round. Maybe on a map like Overpass, when you can play the longer ranges, it doesn't matter as much. I think maybe on Inferno, you could prioritize utility a little bit more. The dog could get caught, and he has to move with that Molotov coming in. NertZ definitely needed that frag just to relax the situation slightly. But Jerry's going to know exactly where he is. Rotation of Surreal is coming in. Zorta, if he can stop that one, then there could be a chance. But in the end, they are in a pincer. And they deal with it very nicely indeed. Endpoint stop the mini rot. And will reach 6, double the score of forZe, but still early days on Overpass.
That's a good round, actually. It's one of those rounds that turns things back in their favor and makes you feel, you know, a little bit more comfortable and confident overall. That's what we're looking for Endpoint. Just setting the tone early doors and towards a round and then seeing it off with very, very limited amount of casualties. That's where we get to feel all the more confident about the side. Just a small tech pause and we're back underway in just a talent round number 10. But so far, so good for Endpoint. 3-round gap built up, and 3 rounds is all that forZe have found, and potentially that's where they could be halted for just a bit. But thankfully for them, they do have money to work with too. So an AWP can be brought in by Zorta. They want to, and AKs around, there will be absolutely no issue. Utility, again, going to be absolutely fine. You look for the city side, similarly again, they wanted to scoop up that AWP that was over towards long, but unfortunately both players were, you know, just half a second away from getting it. So it does mean that MHL will just wield a rifle again in towards next, but I don't mind that too much. I think the rifles kind of allow Endpoint to play slightly differently in terms of how aggressive they can be, and I quite like it.
Absolutely. It makes you sad that car will never be driven again.
Says who? Huh?
You know what? Fair enough.
Why not?
Maybe when the service turns off, someone drives it away.
That's someone's house there, mate. You know.
Is that supposed to be based on like a Mark 1 Golf or something? I feel like it is. I'm a bit of a car enjoyer, so
car aficionado over here.
Yeah, there you go.
But you know, there's loads of houses here. So surely.
It's actually, you know, I actually do love Overpass. Some pros actually. I remember a conversation that Art had on Twitter a while ago. He actually hates Overpass, and it's one of the first maps he wants to see removed from the pool because he feels so limited in what you can do on T-side, which is a curious argument when you have, you know, being an AWPer himself for a little bit before Safe was brought on.
Yeah.
In a case of, well, it's kind of an AWPer's map on CT and T, but I see his point, but at the same time, it's always been my favourite map. One of my favourite maps alongside Vertigo, even though Vertigo I wouldn't be surprised seeing removed at some points in the future, but
I love me some Overpass.
Actually have an Overpass poster behind my PC right now in front of me. So
there we go. There we go. I'm a big Overpass fan. I would say probably my second favourite map. I'd say Nuke being well and clear the first. Nuke, in my opinion, Nuke is the best map in the pool. It has everything you could need. Yeah, to watch, to play. For me, Nuke is a true go. Either way, back on the way. We took only a small tech pause and. Get the show back in the road. Krad's got a lot of control. There's a slight gap in the smoke, or maybe not. NHL. Wall 4, Krad. Hello. Someone check in PC. How has he known that one? We'll find the first MHL to fall. There's the opener. An Endpoint. Stopped in a rock and a hard place. Wow. NertZ will fall too. And that's the A side cracked open.
And that's such a weird one, right? Because MHL, as you so rightly say, probably would have thought he was absolutely fine on the corner of that smoke. Then you could kind of see the body language, the in-game body language of Krad just switch on. He sees a pixel, thinks, wait, is that a foot? And then judges the headshot through the smoke perfectly. NertZ was still lurking around in bathroom as well, right? But Jerry, even though he was stomping around, and NertZ could hear everything, ripped his head off as well. And forZe will close the gap to 2 once again, and they are on the hunt in this round. Shalfey, good timing. Real is very, very stuck, but somehow, oh, you lucky little rascal, gets away with his life there. That'll probably mean that Shalfey will be content with staying alive, because of course, forZe have not built up their bank whatsoever, so surviving with all 5 is kind of critical. He will keep that one going. Of course, Endpoint save means that they can still buy as well, so not going to be perfect. I do believe they're going to be AWPless. Yes, they are. And forZe across the board. NertZ with the only A4. We saw what we could do with that in the previous map.
And forZe are starting to get very close now to being in a position where they're setting up a really decent C side. I mean, already 4 rounds isn't exactly bad. I've seen plenty of 11-4 turn the other way. Be careful. NertZ full blind. What a flash from Jerry. No idea. NertZ there. He was completely white. As Krad. And forZe are starting to get very close now to being in a position where they're setting up a really decent C side. I mean, already 4 rounds isn't exactly bad. I've seen plenty of 11-4 turn the other way. Be careful. NertZ full blind. What a flash from Jerry. No idea. NertZ there. He was completely white. As Krad, once again, his entry kills into Overpass have been fantastic. You can have another flash to come through. MHL sort of dancing with the level a little bit. Max will fall. And Shalfey doubles it down. Surreal. The legacy players of Endpoint 6 feet under. And there's only 2 left alive. There's the 2 new boys on the block for Endpoint to try and bail them out of this situation. But did MHL spot him crossing? I don't know if he did. This could get dicey. Heavy God might have. Doesn't matter. Krad's last bullet meets the head of MHL. And he's a Heavy God all alone. A 1 versus 5. Can he do anything? Well, he finds 1. 4 more bodies to find. I think this is a safe call.
Yeah, now they have a bit more money to hunt, and Jerry will do exactly that. Heavy God removed. Superb stuff from forZe again. And even without that opening pick, right, Endpoint were planning to go for that sort of smoke hold play in the monster tunnel, then go for it as a duo through that. It's often a strategy you see from any tier of team really, to try and maybe get some progress back into the round, but shalfey just deleted both of them. And that sort of play is absolutely meant for a trade. At such long range, couldn't find shalfey. Big round from him, clean as anything. Krad even cleaner. His kills toward A. That was just the pistols. Zorto somehow tagged Surreal there. Actually, I don't think he did. That might have been the other side of the map, because Surreal's just gone down to assault. I was going to say, I was confused for a second. They managed to hit a tag through that wall. Not usually wall bangable. But this is a very comfortable round coming in here at 4-4s that gives them a free path to an equalising 6th. And you probably could say at this point, with CT still to come, I'd be quite confident, now with at least a 9-6 confirmed, they're in the pound seats.
Oh, they hold. Can I get anything else on exits for Endpoint? They are setting up for it. Also, I don't know this though. Heavy Got, that's an easy one. MHL's been spotted out too and spammed down by shalfey. Great control there as he's really started to find his form these last few rounds. He was a little bit quiet towards map number 1, a little bit quiet at the start here, map number 2. The forZe are raring right now. They are on fire in a way we'd expect from them as well. Their map pick, the map which to be so confident on. A flawless 6th on the board for them as well. With a bomb plant as just a cherry on top. forZe tie this game up, and Endpoint's chances of going to Pro League are slowly but surely diminishing as forZe are starting to find their form on their map pick. And if they put up a strong T side, that's when I get extremely worried that this show might be over quicker than we would have hoped for.
Indeed. Jerry is doing it again at the moment. A new youngster, a new core on the same bloody team. And he's the nicest guy you could ever wish to talk to as well. Both of us have had the opportunity to interview him. You could ask him a simple question that's 10 seconds long and he'd give you a 5-minute answer. He's wonderful to talk to. And you can see why sometimes, because his brain working overtime in the server. And again, even though they lost the opening pick, they are pouncing toward B here and it would be the perfect call. While short might be completely taken, thanks to Surreal and Max, Molotov is going to force Surreal away, back into the hands of his UK brother. shalfey, in comes the flashbang. Oh, he goes for the transfer. Does at least net them a 1-for-1. You know, at least short has been taken by one more player. But Jerry shifted onto the site. And it might give Zorto a chance to get this bomb down with this smoke.
Joe creeping his way back up. Of course, the numbers in Endpoint's favour. You're all right for now, but he's rotating. It seems the wrong way. It looks like they want to set up over towards B, and with Krad going back down towards connector, that should confirm it. Just to find the door, and we'll be able to do so. Of course, opening it is going to initiate a fight immediately with Max, which Max should win it out. He panics though, and that sells the fake and gives Krad all the information he needed. If Mighty Max had just held down the or waited to press mouse 1, he would have been all right. Not to be. The bomb will go down. 7 seconds to spare. Zorto does get tight, but it's still a 3 versus 3. The flash will catch him, but how do they set themselves up now? They're smoked out of con.
Yeah, this is impossible, really. Honestly, with the door closed, with the money situation as well, no kit picked up. They may be relatively close to the site, but they're going to have to save this, you would think. Heavy God's kill does mean that they say it's time to go. But it's all down to a P2000 for Heavy God, who's got one bullet in his M4 that he tries to hit a dink with. If he did hit that dink, Krad would have gone down. But it was 1 in 1,000. And forZe do retake the lead. You can see Endpoint were caught in 2 minds there. Do we retake? Do we save? Once Heavy God got that kill, he was low anyway. And probably would have gone down to the bomb explosion. All while crossing back to CT. They thought, well, may as well go for it. They do good damage, but damage doesn't mean anything at this late stage of the first half. Money is fine for forZe. They could be about to push through to at least a guaranteed 8-7.
This is a pretty brutal scenario now for Endpoint. It is already looking extremely similar to how things started off over towards Ancient, where it was Endpoint who got the initial point of control. And unfortunately, once we mentioned, you know, it comes to those 4 buys, it is relatively one-sided. forZe are just that cut above, just that tad better when it comes to those force buys, and this is what we're seeing here from them. Oh, Krad, having a look. So we'll spot a 1 MHL, that's a corker. will catch his head. Lovely shot to open things up. Looking for more as well for NertZ. And he'll deliver. Fantastic from the two Impact players over towards Endpoint. Tucked in towards Con, finding a killer piece.
Superb. Exactly what we want to see from those two in particular. shalfey, like he wants to do his normal thing of creeping through monster unannounced. He wouldn't be facing too much resistance at the moment. It's really all his resistance is towards short as it stands. So they might get the site for free, but crossing short can be so difficult. They really need to get a smoke off toward that position, or at least a Molotov which will burn out the sandbags area. There it is. It actually forces him into the open. It's going to force the second player forward as well, and the Molotov has done all the work to get force back into this round. Bomb is down as well on the opposite side of the pillar. Safely done, and Zorta catches Heavy God brilliantly. 2 kills back for him. And all the work that was done for Endpoint has been undone. It's all down to NertZ really here, but Zorta's got his eyes trained on it. Toward Monster. Great pre-fire from NertZ though. It's down to shalfey and Jerry to hold this one off. Max only has that Deagle and no Kevlar, which means he is expendable. He tries to bait NertZ in, and NertZ, while his crosshair was in the right spot, shalfey is there too quickly. It was close, but not close enough. forZe take 8.
Gotta say as well, whilst you didn't win the round, and maybe you can make all the arguments that you want, NertZ, watching him play with his crosshair placement like that, whew, scarily good mechanically. Unfortunately, just not quite good enough. And of course, shalfey, just as scary at times too, as forZe guaranteed themselves a lead at the half. 8 rounds collected at the very least in towards their T side, which is very, very good. That is a strong T side start for forZe, and exactly dream scenario for them to be in if you're Endpoint, right? They are starting to lag behind. The best they can do is 7. I think for forZe, they are absolutely comfortable right now as shalfey once again just playing a little bit more on the side of passivity. shalfey will get caught with a flash as well. Resold for the first, looking for 2. Mighty Max will trade him out. But can he make it a double? Tagging on towards shalfey or fall back.
Keep the 4v4 intact there for Max. He knows that's the best way to go about it. NertZ toward long as a 1v1 versus Krad. He wins it. Now it's a 1v1 versus Jerry, but Jerry, oh, he goes on his own. And just about gets away with it. 21 health to spare. AWP swapped over. Classic rule. Everyone knows what it is. MHL still lurking around. 50 seconds to go for forZe to get a plant. The bomb is going all the way back toward B here. Through T spawn. Maybe leaving low HP of Jerry with that AWP. Sell a fake. He's got the Molotov to use to do so. It will keep Endpoint relatively at bay on the B side. Still only Max here. And of course he was low from his earlier duel. There he's making a lot of noise. Timing on the instant from MHL. It pushes Jerry forward. And he takes him down. But now the B play will come in. Fake has been sold. Max drops the bomb. They're dealing with it comfortably. It's all down to shalfey. Flash is too good, and Surreal from Heaven finishes the job. It's another even half. The last time that was the case, forZe pulled away. Can Endpoint change that next time around? We'll find out after a very quick break.
In a quiet town, bodies fall upon sacred ground. By the flag and a king is crowned. I'm coming, I'm coming. I'm coming to get ya. I'm coming to get ya. I'ma bring it in the firefight. I'm coming to get ya. I'm coming to get ya. I'm the reaper in the dead of night. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming to get ya. I'm coming to get ya. Bring the firefight, baby. I'm coming to get ya. I'm coming to get ya.
Welcome back. What a half, even as it was in towards map number 1. We know how that one ended for forZe. I've got to say, for me, they still remain in the driver's seat. 8-7 is where they stand, and of course, are now moving on towards the CT side. A lot looking in their favor, but that final round for Endpoint really changes up the statistics. Now, I want to take a look at how things pan out, right? And if it was a 9-6, if forZe had taken a 9th there, they would have a 74% chance of seeing off the map. But the fact that it was only an 8 drops all the way down to 60%. So it's pretty drastic, right? It means that Endpoint, you know, it's still extremely doable. You know, 40% chance they can get back into this game, and they love an upset.
I believe they did it yesterday. They need to do it again, though. forZe are halfway there to their Pro League berth for the first time since early 2020, and I have some funny stats for that one a bit later on. Can Jerry do it again? Back then, his team included FaceCrack, Exapower, Almeza, Flit, of course, who's now an Outsiders.
Yeah.
Yes, almost certainly a bit of a throwback. More of those later. Shalfey is fighting all on his own toward banana position. He will get stopped by Max, who had a good pistol round in the first map as well. But Krad and Zorta hit back straight away. Nade available for assault. Maybe nade the default bomb plant spot, but it will actually go toward Max and not toward MHL, who planted on truck. But Endpoint know at the moment that they're completely surrounded. Kill came in toward long. Kill came in from green bin, and there's a player toward bank as well. Now flash will come through. Max right in the face of Zorta, and MHL takes Jerry as well. Wrestled back into an advantage in their favour, and NertZ has found Krad as well. Great job. It's all down to the youngster of assault. 1 versus 3. Looks away from NertZ just as he peeks. And that is an equalising pistol round. The start they needed for the second half.
Yeah, great round in my eyes there from Endpoint. 2 kills apiece for Max and NertZ means that they tie this game up. And of course, in a similar fashion to the start of this map, they get the early points of money to work with. Of course, we're going to see very comfortable 4x come out of Mac 10, double AK, 1 Khalil, Air Force Surreal. And for forZe, they are going to try and fall by into this, but what can they bring to the table is going to be so minimal. It's just going to be a double scout setup in hands of Zorta and Krad, and pistols alongside it. So it's one of those classic tag him and bag him situations. The pistols tag him up and the scouts see him off, or vice versa. The forZe, though, definitely backs against the wall just a bit here, and this one's going to be very difficult to sort of turn in their favor. I think Endpoint, this is a very good opportunity for them on T side. Start building up a fairly decent leader, and maybe even push towards double digits before the first true forZe response.
Could be a bit of a heartbreaker for Endpoint if they did lose against this force buy, but you know, they have to take this like any other normal gun round. The Eagles and Scout combination is so scary. Two Mac 10s. Max and Heavy God trying. E-code, and already that's a poor start. Timing may not have favoured MHL. Dropping off the bench like he did as he got faced. But shalfey still takes it. And gets a free AK for his troubles as well. He is now full sprint on the big flank too, and I'm not sure it's being heard as of yet. Look at the bomb on the map and look where shalfey is. This could be a bit of a nightmare. They're walking into a massive pincer here. Zorta, beautiful headshot with the scout. And now, with shalfey on a big flank and Ristal still towards short, he can just play time, and he smartly does not peek anymore. He hits the headshot anyway, and Krad's got his too. Max is in a nightmarish situation. It's an absolute sweep from forZe. They don't lose a single player. That's 3 AKs to be picked up. It's the worst it could have possibly gone for Endpoint.
That is a cracking round from forZe. I mean, everything went right. Everyone stepped up. I mean, it's a team ace. Everyone picking up a kill. That is a dream there from forZe. No one faltered. Everybody stepped up to the plate. Everybody won their 50s. I mean, that is as good as it gets. Jerry, Fierce, they'll look back at that round with grins on their face later on today, especially if it means a win later down the line, because that could be the turning factor. forZe have clambered the lead back in their favor off the back of such a minimal buy. Now, of course, forced Endpoint in the same situation. They've got nothing to work with in the bank.
It's a huge step for forZe. If they can just overcome these Deagles now and not lose to the same buy they just won with, they're going to be in the perfect spot. It can be so powerful when you, as a CT side, lose the pistol but then eco them straight back. Good information for Krad. Have you got to try and push through it? We've got help from Zorta. It's perfect defensive play. And Krad's even dancing around bathrooms right now as well. NertZ will put a stop to it. He's playing that really well. shalfey looks desperate to peek, and as he hears the reload, he goes for it. Max will spam him down, but he was very low. And Zorta just needed a bullet anywhere to deal with him. MHL. He'll hit the headshot toward Ristal, as he didn't hear him charging through from long bathroom. There's a very slim chance this could still come through. Almost dropped at the front of bathroom. Of course, now he's shown his hand. And that flash won't be too successful. Jerry playing up close. Zorta's coming in on the big flank. Jerry is hearing everything. He can just keep relaying that information over. And he wins the duel in the end. And of course, that puts Endpoint to a full eco as well. Man. That is not the start Endpoint needed to that second half. But forZe will be loving it.
Oh my god, exactly that. First side hit double digits as well. I mean, that really, swings that momentum so heavily in favor of forZe. And now looking to go 7 in a row in terms of the win streak on Overpass. And of course, more importantly than that, guarantee them a spot as they advance in towards ESL Pro League Season 17. Ladies and gents, of course, it looks like they're on the home straight. The red carpet's starting to be rolled out for them as they're getting ever closer. And Endpoint starting to dwindle behind. Krad will be tested. I'll look in. Actually, just going to fall completely back. I like that. Able to pass the test. Second time of asking. And it'll be met as Retort will find one. Tapping away at the eco. Heavy God making it a little bit tougher than it should be, but they will clean it up nonetheless. So it's down to just 2. NertZ and MHL. 2 Glocks. Let's be real here. No chance of making one work. It's not a flawless round, though. MHL will get himself on before he falls, so it's okay. But it is going to still be forZe up to 11 before we see the proper response coming through. Now we see a full buy coming out. But I got to say, Trav, already, you can start potentially asking yourself the questions of, too little, too late. It's starting to creep in just a tad.
Yeah, and we now have a small chance to look back at some of the previous situations, of course. For Endpoint, I mean, they battled through against Sprout. They did so well to win a series, which they didn't really, definitely weren't the favourites for. They kind of were the better team over the course of all 3 maps. And we need some sort of magic like that again to recover this situation. Heavy God's going to try and take his short control, but he has to lose 60 points of his health to do so. As it stands, utility to try and clear out those close angles, and in comes the boost. Looks like they might put Surreal in for that one. There are 2 players could be coming in to burn it out. And there we go. Perfectly done. Heavy God gets away with his life on 1 point of health. And even though he gets a kill, don't ask me how, but he did. Shalfey got his one. So 4v4 with Heavy God on a sliver.
Still doable, right? I mean, Heavy God, he can just essentially be like cannon fodder if he really wants to. If he can, well, we saw other ideas. Now they will fall, and now the numbers go in favor of forZe. How do they try and play this in their favor? Zorta holding. As that smoke slowly dissipates, he's got that crosshair lined up perfectly. He takes a pop shot now. He should be all right, and he'll find as NertZ just peers out of the smoke. Easy frag for him. Zorta also aware MHL in rotation. Look from the barrel and spot out Krad. Bringing the numbers just a little bit more even, but still they favor forZe as time is ticking. 20 seconds to work with, and they've got to pull the plug now, boys. You've got to try and get towards the site. Max, bomb in hand, but he's all alone. And Jerry tucked in towards barrels. That alone will be impossible to try and pull off. Reason knows all too well about this. The bomb goes down. Surely that's the round 2.
Yeah, just too late. And the problem is when you're at that latter stage of the round and you only have one player to come through Monster, it's basically, you know, it's like a 1 in 20 shot, something like that. That round comes up in your favor. Max would have to hit 2 quick-fire headshots to get that bomb down.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely. And forZe edge ever closer. Last time forZe were in Pro League, you ready for this?
Go on.
Fnatic were full Swedish. Ents were fully Finnish. Astralis had their legacy roster. Vitality were still using RPK and Shocks. And forZe themselves had Facecrack, Elmazer, Exapower, and Flit. It was only Jerry
Wow.
that was on that team.
Jesus, that is that's a blast from the past. That's a throwback to say the absolute least.
Oh.
I mean,
And also, North still
on.
existed.
and North was a thing. AZS crying at home right now as tears roll down his face at the mere thought. Elliot at home in his bag, thinking of his goat. Sorry, Elliot.
I love you, man.
Washed. Anyway. 12-8, 4-round lead for forZe as they are starting to seriously pull away now. And of course, unfortunately for Endpoint, it's a round of 21. They really haven't got too much to bring to the table. I mean, what have we got here? 8K in the hands of MHL and a few pistols around it. Utility already used up. Apart from that one flash in Max's hands, that has to be the best flash we've ever seen if they want to find success off the back of it. This is going to be difficult, to say the absolute least. And forZe have got a bit of a stack over towards Monster too. Is Reso going to take contact first, and Jerry there for the trade if needed.
Oh, that's a really good way to get an entry, though. It baked them into life up pretty nicely, but we're still always aware of it. It's a really good spray, and he does good damage to MHL as well. It may be an advantage. They're going to have to take so much time in recovering that bomb from Monster, and now Krad is here as well, but he is 1v3. Superb chance for Endpoint to recover this, but it's still not easy. MHL incredibly low, but he might not be checked in water so close up. Krad is making a lot of noise, and they know exactly where he is. Heavy God continue to play off his contact. It's a good setup for Endpoint. This is basically impenetrable. Krad looking for MHL first. He is avoiding Heavy God at the moment. He will find the first, but then that's when Heavy God should peak, but he's missed the shots. Now there's a very slight chance for Krad. Tap will come in. Heavy God's making some noise in the open, and a USB headshot would have done the job because Heavy God doesn't have a helmet, but he gets away with it. And Endpoint recover. That is a very big lifeline. Only 3 rounds the gap, and the money on forZe is not good.
Yeah, that got way closer than it should have been. forZe never should have lost that round. Endpoint have just got by with a bit of a scapegoat, a bit of luck that maybe could be enough for them to make this game ever closer. I'm still a believer. As a UK boy, maybe call it bias. I don't care. As Endpoint, what a story it would be to see these boys back in Pro League. Now Zorta flashed off the angle in the open towards short, waiting for a swing. Won't be given too much just yet. As forZe have got a slightly janky buy. Crowd only down to an MP9. And while there's buys across the rest of them, the thing that really worries me is the lack of utility. On a retake if needed, they might struggle.
Problem, and Endpoint are trying to take advantage of it. Maybe doing a bit more aim-style plays, and that could be a lifeline back into this game. I said the last round was, but this would truly break the money of forZe. Great round from Heavy God again. 2 big entries. A really impactful Ancient, even though he was on the losing side. His T-side especially was particularly impressive. And Endpoint, MHL, 2 kills of his own. NertZ will finish off the job. It's a very, very clean execute. Go toward Monster as a duo. Wait to find the information. The 2 picks they can then play off of as the rotates come through. And forZe are on absolutely nothing economically. They're a day late, they're $1 short. They might still have a 2-round lead, but it's about to be won.
Yeah, this is already looking way more competitive than we initially would have thought of, especially with that kind of gap that forZe are building up. Now we're in a position where we start to think about potentially Endpoint turning it the other way. I mean, of course, money, nothing, as you mentioned before, so this is a bit of a throwaway. You'd expect maybe a gamble stack to try and make it expensive as best they can, but overall, walking away of anything in this sort of round is super minimal. At least with when Endpoint were ecoing, they had like a Hero AK to work with or a couple of Deagles to make it viable. With just USPSs though, I mean, they can't afford to invest in anyway. The loss bonus isn't built up enough, so it is just going to be a bit of a throwaway. NertZ, however, does let himself 2 before he falls. That's okay. Trade doesn't come through. MHL can't quite control. Slightly laboured spray. AK actually scooped up.
I mean, no armor. Shots do something with it, especially if Heavy Gods can continue to miss those shots, and there we go. It's a very difficult angle to clear out that fountain position. The best players in the world can whiff on that one, with the head dancing back and forth behind that position. But Endpoint still have a good situation here. We've got 2 players coming in from long, and a smoke to block off any pistols to come their way. Jerry's got a Zeus again, and look at him. He's right in the smoke right now, Jerry, and he's going for it. He's running in, and he's found MHL. Don't tell me he gets a second. Oh my goodness. Now it's all down to Surreal and Mighty Max. And the UK boys recover the situation. Zorta, position known, needs a fresh reload. Jerry almost made that an absolutely wild victory. That was very comedic, him running in toward bank and getting that Zeus kill. It's impactful though. And it almost works out for an insane recovery. Zorta will be off to save the AK. Endpoint get away with it.
I'm pretty sure every time we have covered forZe over the last kind of week or so, Jerry has got a Zeus skill at least 1 point in the series. He loves them
every time.
He's efficient with them as well. I got to give him his credit. He knows how to make them work. And of course, monetarily speaking, not really making a difference at all. But in terms of guaranteeing the kill, hey, he's doing exactly that. I mean, look over towards Endpoint. They survive with just 1, and Max, I mean, only barely survives 2. That is a cracking round for forZe. They'll absolutely take that from such a minimal investment to walk away with what is essentially 4 kills at the end of the day is really good. Off the back of it, we are going to see attack pause called. A time for them to take a breather and for Jerry and Fierce to have a conversation now with the lads about how they're going to make this one work. And same on the other side for Max and Raging, how are they going to rally the troops to continue what has been quite the triumphant comeback. And usually it's the other way. We saw over towards yesterday's affair on Vertigo. It was 9 rounds in a row to guarantee Sprout Vertigo. Of course they did that in overtime, and it was 9 rounds on Ancient in a row before us to reclaim the lead and kind of run away with it. So already we're at a point now where we're thinking for Endpoint, maybe they can finally have one of their own versions of a comeback and start a decent story here and potentially even open the door to a conversation about Mirage.
You never know. Mirage could certainly go either way. We know that map is up for all those up for debate. Is it probably being the most puggy one? And fair enough. And I really feel like that could be a huge coin flip. So forZe will want this done now. Slash as quickly as possible. Zorta's got nice control towards the playground here. And of course he has a line underneath the wooden panels. You can see feet first if Endpoint do want to make their way in toward that position. This is a big round to dictate how the next few will go. Do forZe streak clear, or do Endpoint manage to glean a lead? Zorta's going for a play, and he's behind MHL. 1 bullet required, and a free AWP for him as well. He'll molly behind him, but there are players who already made their way through. So Krad needs to keep his wits about him here. Will the call be accurate? He's still staring toward long as it stands. Heavy God could be about to shock him in this particular position, but he looks back at exactly the right time. But it might not even matter because Heavy God still hits the shot. A site open for business. Sure, Zorta's play was good, But with no defuse kit, how do you play this? Salt managed to pre-fire Max. He heard him drop in toward water, and shalfey's found Heavy God, but look where NertZ is. Oh, what a headshot from Assault. That's what the young gun is here for. And it's all down to Surreal. If there was ever a clutch he could win, it's this one, because they're still so far away, and no kit in play, but he only gets the 1 kill. Great recovery from forZe. I thought Endpoint were about to pull another one out of the fire, but it's 13-11. Oh, what a round again.
Yeah, my God. Fine margins even still for forZe to see it off, but credit. And I think Result did a really good job. That kill on towards NertZ, more or less, rallies the troops in terms of, let's go for this. Let's actually make this, a possibility. And it really does work out really, really well. Unfortunately for Surreal in a 1 versus 4 there, while it's a good angle, it's normally only a good angle for 1. So for him to find 3 more on top was asking just a tad too much. 13-11. Ever closer now to the all-elusive 16 there, and they're starting to bridge that gap once further. Endpoint, if they fall flat in towards round number 25, that could be all she wrote. And Zorta, if he hit that, that might have been a great start. But it'll just fall away.
Balls are looking very clutch at the moment. Ooh, okay, hang on. They weren't necessarily too aware that Short had been taken so aggressively and MHL was so far up. That is a classic Overpass play. Taking control of Short and looking for an opening pick. You see most T-side Overpass at least give that a go at least once and a half on Overpass. Of course, NertZ is low from earlier on. We see that forZe are recovering these rounds superbly. Krad, he's still in a relatively advanced position. Molotov will come in now, and that will keep him at bay a little while longer. He's staring at that one. And staying so far pushed up. At this stage, they may not expect him to still be here. Coming on it. Oh, Surreal just pulls out his knife. But he recovers his gun in time. Krad will drop. I didn't mind that timing for Krad pushing there. But still, he'll get punished for it. Problem is, Endpoint have the bomb with 30 seconds to go. And they are walking into the final few forZe players. Do they have time to bring it back? So in this current situation, you have to say there's no time, so Surreal has to flank them. And he might not be able to see much from heaven. They're going to have to go here. Max hits the entry, but here we go. 2 more players to fight. Could be a bit of a lineup. Shalfey gets 1. Zorta gets the 2nd. Here we go. There's Zorta again, but the trades are good. And they're just in time. That was so spooky. The Endpoint stay within touch.
Jesus, this game. It is giving us some heart-stopping moments to the least. Credit to Endpoint for making that one work in their favor. Within 1 now. This is going down to fine margins. You're seeing it's what's looking like for forZe. A hero rifle in the hands of shalfey, but around it is, well, not a lot. They're just going to opt for the pistols and kind of bank on the fact that the youngster can step up the rifle in hand. Of course, we know, as mechanically, he definitely can time and time again, but this is asking a lot of him. Boosted up as well with the hands of Jerry. Looking for someone coming through short water. Won't be given too much just yet. Endpoint, that's a crucial round. That's really put a halt over towards that forZe side. Oh my God, Krad started off really well though. And he's done damage on towards Surreal too. NertZ at the very least on towards shalfey, so no rifle left back in play. Can it be scooped back up?
Oh, these are so scary, these rounds. Look how far Zorta's pushed up. Rachel is staring at it there, and there you go. Very tight line that can be held from the bottom of the T steps. Nade could be good. Oh, he just backs away from it. He'll be safer now, but he knows that Zorta's been legged. Big triple swing coming into one monster, and Jerry does get that 1 kill. Max took some damage in taking his pistol out of the round. This is still very dangerous indeed. Assault left side monster. Jerry's continuing to go aggressive, and Zorta's got a freebie. And if it's not a kill, it's still information. He decides against going for that one and goes for MHL instead. But in comes the Tech 9. Good save. Now it's up to Endpoint to decide where they want to go. Jerry's rotating in. I think it's going to be a second too late, because the site's been taken with a smoke. And there's Max holding the default. Result will drop. And Jerry doesn't know which site is actually going to be the play. One will go down safely. And Endpoint are going to even up Overpass. Goodness me.
least the rifle stays in play, though. You can take the small positives, I guess, from this before as well. For now, at the very least. I don't know if they'll go hunting. I don't think it's really... It's slightly ill-advised, let's put it that way, for the Z side. But even still, right? This is going down to the wire. Fine margins. I mean, map number 1 was extremely close. These two sides inseparable at times. It was just forZe who were able to edge it out when they hit that 15 mark. It took a little bit for Endpoint to make it as close as it was. Unfortunately, weren't able to complete the comeback. This time, it's looking like they are going to complete the comeback, and this could be the start of them opening that door very wide for us looking towards Mirage. 13 apiece. But of course, a full response to come through now for forZe. Full buy coming out. Will they wield the AWP? Yes, they will. Zort's going to pick that up. Might have to be dropped a little bit of utility alongside it. But apart from that, a very full buy coming through. Pause cord in the first, actually. 4 Endpoints here at 13 all. They desperately want to push us towards Mirage. It might take the full 30 in regulation and some to get there. But they are looking towards a map number 3, which is what they were able to do against Sprout yesterday. Of course, that was a much more one-sided affair. Map number 2, I think that was it 16-8 off the top of my head in against Sprout yesterday.
Something like that, yeah.
And then, of course,
It was
Mirage
definitely
was
dominant.
Yeah, it was relatively one-sided too. This is much more even. And I think this is a real test of wills, right? You know, who's got that sort of mental, you know, character and the inability to be overcome by fatigue and all of the rest, right? This is what we look towards. And maybe even that's where you look towards the youngsters and think, you know, can they cope?
That time down to Jerry to calm them all down and get them all sorted. Don't forget, last time forZe were in Pro League, Jerry had a completely different 4 to work with. Almeza, Flicked, of course, who's had so much success now. Was Face Crack as well, some of the OG players on that team. And now it's a completely different squad. Is he about to do it again? He's 3 rounds away. But they are more up against it at the moment than Endpoint are. Maybe not in this round. Economically in general, that is the case. Shalfey with that little boost over the edge of the panel. Towards short. Gets his opener. MHL working forward and Krad just jumps into the open. Didn't know that MHL was up con. Great recovering frag. MHL's been so impactful again in this game. In these sort of situations, getting picks to bring his team back into contention. Backs outside the smoke, can't get one. But now, of course, Endpoint know where 2 players are residing. It's good information, and they know that 1 is very, very low. Bomb was dropped, of course, so NertZ has to go back and grab it. It probably gives forZe more information than Endpoint, to be fair.
Yeah, bomb dropped as well, and time ticking. Endpoint, a little bit of a precarious spot right now. What do they do? I mean, even going back can be difficult on the turn as well. Resort will be caught. Maybe would have been better just to take the flash and hold down mouse 1, but shalfey will answer back, looking for 2. Still alive as well as Jerry Wall 4, but a 2 versus 2. Time is ticking, 20 seconds to work with. The bomb should go down, and it will. Now, post spawn sets up. Both players near enough. A shalfey will find 1. It's all down to NertZ. If anyone was going to step up, 3 kills is what he wants to end this round on. And Endpoint up to a 14th. forZe are taking the time.
Oh, they're playing this one so slowly, and you know, fair play to them. They know what NertZ can do in these sort of scenarios. Shalfey's got the kit, so they can afford to play that clock. Playing the headshot angle, there's 1, and Zorta's now so low. He was jumping forward to try and help out, and NertZ is just going to change up his position as cool as a cucumber. Zorta's picked up the kit, he's holding it. NertZ isn't peeking, the hold is still coming through, and he's just got it in time. Endpoint retake the lead at 14, and NertZ has done it again.
That is the finest of margin, the thinnest of ice. My God, credit to NertZ. He just about had that perfect. And I think Azort as well. I mean, that is so ballsy to go for that sort of play. But hey, I mean, it was so close to panning out. What, half a second? Probably even a little bit less. And he would have had that round in their favor and would have been in a different story to where we are now. But no, another pause called by forZe. As they're down to what is going to be a pretty gruesome buy in towards the next. It's just pistols, I'm assuming, for them to work with. And I think they're then going to play for overtime.
I can't believe that's how that round ended. The setup for forZe was so good. They had everything in their pound seats again. They had Jerry to help out shalfey on the site. That's why Jerry peaked, because he didn't think that they'd be expecting him there too. They know he's a B player, but not on that particular angle. And Surreal just took the duel with 20 HP to spare. That was the main kill that really gave them a chance to actually give NertZ a chance to win that clutch. He was low, Surreal, got taken down comfortably, but when shalfey found that defuse kit, he knew he could take his time and wait for his daughter to come in and help and see if NertZ pushes aggressively or makes a mistake. And mistakes aren't in NertZ's vocabulary in clutch situations so far today. And now forZe, they're going to need to go to that bank because they don't have much money at all. The decision is made to go for a full force buy. MP9, Scout, FAMAS, UMP, M4A1S. It's a full array. They're going to need to make it work somehow to keep us even.
It's do or die. I mean, this for forZe is the round that they have to convert. They don't, not only the Endpoint find 15, but it just breaks that economy for forZe. It's more or less guarantees that we go to a third and final map. So, all in all, it's very much down to the wire. This is a must convert for forZe. If they do, then the door's still open for them to take this series 2-0. But my God, is this one being close? Endpoint are tooth and nail, keeping the conversation on their side as they take long control too, and no one there to meet them. They'll get all of this for free and can make some pretty good progress over towards the A side.
For on long at the moment. Endpoint creeping up. I have a couple of sound issues that we're working through at the moment. Stay with us, guys. We'll get those sorted for you as quickly as possible. But as long as you can still hear us, you know exactly what's going on. For as we go in, with NertZ lurking way back toward the front of bathrooms, shalfey's in a good position. I think Endpoint might be walking into a bit of a stack here. There's shalfey with 1, looking for a second, and he gets it. Surreal goes down 2, 5 HP to spare, and there's still a second player toward bathroom. But MHL has found his 1 kill. Shalfey, oh, he's standing up tall as anything. How's he got a third kill through the smoke there? Brilliantly played. NertZ needs to step up, but Krad strafes with the UMP, and Jerry finds the last. Of course, forZe win that round, and we have a guaranteed 30 coming in here. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely anyone's to call.
A round in which had to be converted by forZe, and the fact they're being able to do so means that the door is once again flung wide open, because in a similar scenario over towards Endpoint, it's forced them into a gruesome decision. They've gone for a force 2, but unfortunately they got less, even less, to bring to the table. Double AK, and then just some pistols around it. This again is do or die. If Endpoint can't convert this, their story might be finished here. Looking for control in towards connector. 2 players, 2 pistols, and Krad doesn't want anything to do with it. Just going to fall back and give them all of this space. Endpoint, this is such a risky decision. To force buy in towards this one. And for Max, Raging, they have had to make an extremely difficult call there. Now, flash is coming through. Smoke coming in. Krad doesn't want to take too much contact just yet. T-side is looking like they still want to finish up over towards B.
Force buy is so terrifying, isn't it? It's nowhere near as good as what forZe's was. 2 Deagles, Tech 9. If they burst toward B, then I'm confident they're going to have a shot, or at least an afterplan. Guns in play, and in comes the burst. 2 pistols to go first. AK in third of MHL. In we go. And now there's the information that they're all the way up. forZe playing this one so carefully, and maybe too carefully. Result shows himself from water, but Heavy God took Jerry first. There are 3 kits in play. They can take their time, but they only have 1 flashbang. In it comes, but MHL stands tall from the top of the default box, and shalfey only gets 1. Max rips the head off of Result as well. NertZ is still here. Whiffs the shot though, and Krad takes it. Could that be a big miss in the context of this game? Shalfey and Krad flashbang in play once again. In comes Krad. Max on a humongous off angle, and he hits the headshot. Heavy Gods hits his too. And Endpoint reach 15. Force buy. It's going to have to be another one from forZe to reach OT.
Oh my God, Endpoint. fine margins. A double AK and pistol setup has netted them a 15th. That's a round that never should be converted. In no way should Endpoint have walked away with a success there. But somehow, some way, from the claws of defeat, they stay alive and they stay in control and in the lead. forZe, while this is an attack pause called by Endpoint, forZe will be using this as best as they can. What does Krad invest into? Does he go for the likes of a FAMAS with utility? Does he play off the back of the M4A1S with a little bit less? And he will. M4A1S, smoke and a molly is all he's going to wield. Jerry, just an MP9 for him alongside Result. This is a grim buy once again over towards the CT side, but hey, we never count them out because they always manage to find a way to make them work. Is this Endpoint pushing us towards Mirage, or do we go towards OT?
That is the question. Mirage is such a map that you would think is up for the taking for Endpoint if they somehow manage to come back into this one. Historically, forZe love a bit of Mirage, but they're going to be nervy. Can they pull it back to OT? MP9s go searching towards short. Result and Jerry. Also takes an opening chunk of damage. Endpoint looks like they're kind of convinced they want to go back toward B again. NertZ holding default. He would be facing Krad with that M4. In comes the peak. NertZ gets his first kill. And Krad really needs to trade this, but he's gone for that information play and found where NertZ is. You don't know Krad is there. You just see the MP9 on the floor from Rissel at the front of the door. Krad goes up, takes MHL. Really big kill. Realizes that maybe they're not going to expect him there. Jerry needs to hop away. Only just manages it. There are two players in the action. Krad plays smoke fade. Doesn't win the duel. NertZ done it again. And Heavy God hits his headshot as well. Two players left for forZe. Endpoint are wrestling this one back. Only a tag.
It's got to be.
That's it.
Shalfey all alone now, 1 versus 4. I love this guy. He's seriously talented, but this is asking too much of him. Surely he will find one. The number's up. The gig's up as well. Endpoint 16 to 14. Fine margins is the only way I can describe that, because my God, what a game we have just seen, Trav. What a performance from Endpoint. I think we should all now realize you can never count them out. And teams need to stop picking into them on Overpass because they know how to win it. We now focus our attention towards Mirage, but mate, this is anybody's game.
This is absolute banger. This is unbelievable. So much on the line.